Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, we're gonna be talking about the crypto prices. We have some talks about the most intelligent crypto holders. Coinbase has set up in India and has drastically increased their customer support. And we also have some talk about institutional Bitcoin buyers hoarding, aka whales. Now let's start off briefly by talking about the XRP and generally the crypto prices. I mean, obviously XRP has broken our previous trend. We basically saw XRP form a trend from the 22nd of June all the way throughout the 1st of July right here, broke down towards the downside, obviously if it broke down. Right now it's basically acting as a resistance, as you can clearly see right now. One thing to add, however, is that if we actually were to take this June 22nd point and, basically start the trend from here on forward, it's actually definitely quite safe to say that this is the newer trend since it's still quite bullish. And even though it's, again, a little bit of a lower trend, that's one of the fun things some people like to point out. And that one thing that they point out is that every analyst will always be able to draw a new line or a new triangle, and it'll always work out. Even though I don't fully agree with that, there is some truth to it, where you can always draw a new line somewhere that will line up and that will make some sort of sense. And from that perspective, it is right that just the line on its own doesn't really tell you too much. Only in this specific case here, I would like to point out the trend, and in this specific case here is the most current trend that it is forming, which again only shows you the narrative, which is bullish. You can pair it up with the RSI, which is showing a little bit of actually overbought territory almost, but let's actually focus on Bitcoin a little bit more significantly. That one is actually holding along or coming along with its earlier trend line. Still, it actually never really broke below it. The XRP to BTC pair, by the way, actually did break below the trend line as well, just like the normal XRP pair did. However, there was a little of a triangle that formed. We actually broke out towards the top side like we were already talking about a little bit yesterday. I mostly discussed it over in the Patreon, but you guys see by now, there's a couple of adjustments to make, maybe like this, but whatever, it broke out to the top side, as you can clearly see for right now. And then the majority of altcoins also had a similar sort of pattern as Bitcoin, where the trend line was just quite positive. If you actually zoom out for Bitcoin a little bit, you'll see almost the same thing formed right there as with ADA and almost all other altcoins. It's just XRP that had a little bit of a fall down, a little bit of a drawdown. If we actually look at the daily perspective though, let's quickly check that out. It's, to be honest with you, not that bad. The daily does look a lot more positive than these other time frames do. I mean, looking at it from this perspective, XRP actually looks a little bit better than Bitcoin did. Not gonna lie to you. Because it looks like XRP bottomed out a little bit more severely before now coming back upwards, right? With Bitcoin, it kind of looks like it's still going sideways, but just a little bit of a layer lower right here, and now coming back into its normal sideways pattern that spanned from about 33.4 or 33.5 to about $39,000. But let us see. Then moving over into the most intelligent and wealthy and highly educated crypto investors and what they're basically buying. Well, let's actually read the title. New report reveals that 2 altcoins wealthy and highly educated investors are buying. In a new report by the Bank for International Settlements, there are 2 large cap crypto that wealthy and highly educated investors prefer over Bitcoin. These investors are surprisingly unwaved by the ongoing Ripple case that has suppressed XRP since the turn of the year. And again, the conclusion was that XRP was number 1 and Ethereum was number 2. And the most fun part was that Cointelegraph actually made it look as if Ethereum was number 1, even though in the graph that they showed, it clearly showed up that XRP was number 1. Now, I would like to point out 2 things. One, XRP, of course, has a lot of highly educated people because, well, obviously, if it's a crypto designed for the banks and for the banking system, you need a little bit of knowledge to work with or actually like it to a certain degree. Why am I saying that? Well, even though you might say, oh, Dusty, but there's so many hype and fanboys in XRP, so many wishful thinkers. There are in every single community. It's with XRP that there's not that many people who, for example, are only into it for crypto kitties or only into it for something small like that. With XRP, the majority of people believe in this crypto taking over the financial system and changing it out. I've told you guys before, I think a lot of the bankers actually don't have any other crypto next to XRP. And this is not something I'm just, taking out of the freaking air. I'm actually saying this on a little bit of experience because I've talked with bankers before. We actually went to Switzerland to talk with some bankers too, and a lot of them are actually XRP centered. One of the good examples was when I went to my own bank here in the Netherlands. I wanted to sign up for a specific bank account. We were talking about what I do on the YouTubes as well, and one of the things which he noted was, oh yeah, XRP, huh? Yeah, and that was the only crypto he held, basically. It was a fun little story. I've explained it a couple of times in live streams, but hopefully you're watching this, by the way. He does know my channel name. I hope he's still subscribed to the channel. It would be pretty funny, but point being, a lot of these guys just hold XRP even though they're bankers, and it's going to amaze you. Even though you might think the community is really all over the place or really on the lower end sometimes because of the memes and the wishful thinking, a lot of these guys are actually really highly educated, and I've put a lot of research into the crypto itself too. Once more, guys, don't forget this lawsuit as well has brought in a lot of attorneys to just kind of analyze the situation, and the fact that Ripple/XRP is one of the only big cryptos right now with a lawsuit like that. It attracts a lot of institutional investors to just kind of look into it, basically, but also just, obviously understand that little metric of, okay, if they win, price go up. If they lose, every crypto go down. Worth the risk to reward. It's a good risk to reward, in my opinion. Moving forward, Coinbase has hired an army of support staff to keep customers happy. I'm always going to say this as a plus. You can never really hire too much support staff. It's only too much if the ticket system is so incredibly difficult where you get 7 different people to answer your ticket every time because they work on odd hours and just things become awful. But generally speaking, the more the merrier, because if you use a crypto exchange and you can talk to a human, that is so amazing. If you can call them, that's like kudos to them. That is so amazing. And I also personally always love it if they have some sort of headquarters. And I mean, Coinbase is a public company that's really difficult to kind of go away from this earth. But remember, guys, I've been scammed multiple times by crypto exchanges, which is why I hold the majority of my money in Ledger Nanos, the S specifically, but the X as well. A link is down below for that, by the way. The majority of my money I keep in those because I think that's the best thing to do to keep your money safe. And I'm even going to take more money out of Binance because, well, the support is not that amazing. If they ever, quote unquote, scam, I want to say if they ever get sued in a heavy way, you don't know how fast they're all of a sudden going to be outside your country. And what if all countries bundle together on them all of a sudden? Maybe CZ is going to do something crazy. I don't want to be at that type of risk. So I'm taking more and more money out of Binance piece by piece and just storing it on my Ledger wallets. The only problem is not every crypto is supported, or some cryptos I have just such small holdings of that it might not be worth sending over. But I've had that before with Doge. I had at least 50,000 Doge in 2 different places. I think I had 30,000 Doge in one place and maybe like 45 or 50,000 Doge in another. I had a lot of Doge in the past as well. And they were worth maybe $80 at the time. And because it wasn't worth that much, I just kept it on exchange because I didn't really care too much. And later on, well, again, you can kind of do the math for yourself. 50,000 Doge times, what's the maximum went to? 70 cents or so? Yeah, that's a pretty good sum of money if I had just taken it out. But again, you couldn't have known. And that's also the reason why I always tell you guys, just take your money out of these exchanges if you can. It's worth it. Unless, of course, you are trading, for which you shouldn't really listen to it. And by the way, I think the majority of these customer support guys are going to be Indian, very cheap labor force. And of course, they've been expanding over there. We just see it right now. So logically, I put one and one together. It says here, we will have teams in all major areas Coinbase works in today. Infrastructure, cloud, platform payment, crypto, blockchain, data engineering, machine learning, growth, product engineering, to name just a few. These teams in India will be led by local engineering directors who will have a large, independent, and autonomous charters, said Pankaj Gupta, the VP of Engineering and Site Lead in India. Well, because I guess to a certain degree it can be true, where India has a lot of developers, a lot of coders, so from that perspective, highly educated in that specific field too. Okay. But I also think it's really coincidental, right? July 4th. We all know, hello, welcome to I shouldn't mock them, right? I mean, it's just for good fun. I was just going to say, hello, welcome to Coinbase customer support. I'm already waiting for that little call pretty soon, I guess, because there's going to be some fun things regarding that. All right, let's move on though. Let's see what else we got. Bitcoin whales accumulate 60k BTC in highest daily spike of 2021. Bitcoin whales holding 100 to 10,000 BTC have accumulated 60k coins in a single day. The event happened yesterday, July 3rd, and coincided with the largest downward Bitcoin mining difficulty adjustment in history of about 28%. The accumulation might have been due to the prospects of the Bitcoin network becoming more and more decentralized with the forced exodus of miners within China and its territories. Bitcoin has since reclaimed the 35k support and could be headed towards reclaiming the 50-day moving average. Bitcoin whale addresses holding between 100 and 10,000 BTC kicked off July with a 60,000 Bitcoin accumulation spike, the highest daily spike of 2021. These addresses hold 9.12 million coins combined after holding 100k less Bitcoin just 6 weeks ago. So we're in a good little situation right now. Big spike, big boy spike. And then I guess this is something to kind of back that up and confirm it. Canada's institutional ETF investors remain bullish on Bitcoin. Data shows. Yeah, guys, the ETF is still having quite a lot of demand. People are still buying it. And mind you, even though in the markets and in the face of Twitter and whatnot, it might look like people are afraid, in the real world, people really aren't that scared. And people, generally speaking, just keep holding through to the bitter end. It's just the people with paper hands who most likely just got into it now after buying it and selling it at a loss that are panicking. It's mostly just people who are new to the markets or who bought Bitcoin really, really high. The majority of people have bought it early already, and a lot of institutional investors are getting in, but they're not here to just be in it for 1 month or 1 day. No, they want to be in here for the next couple of years because they are pretty sure it's going to make them money, which is kind of the same, I guess, idea that we have too. Alright guys, but that was it for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe. And I, again, want to quickly ask you guys, more energetic or more serious and calm? Which one do you like better in terms of these videos? I look at all you guys' comments, so put it down below. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.